Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent. A goal joining you the morning after Arsenal's 1-0 victory against AFC Wimbledon in the Carabao Cup third round. They will now meet Leeds United in the fourth round again at the Emirates. I thought it was a pretty comfortable night's work last night. They had to wait a little bit before they killed the game off, didn't they? Those two sort of late goals in the last 15 minutes from Emil Smith-Rowe and Eddie Nketiah, sort of rounding off Alexander Lacazette's penalty in the first half, but in truth it was a very comfortable night's work for Arsenal. I thought Wimbledon put up a good fight, but they never really lay a glove on Arsenal, did they? Can't really think of any sort of save that Bernd Leno had to make. It was just a case of Arsenal trying to kill the game off after that Lacazette goal. They should have done it earlier than they did, but in the end the goals did come in the last 15 minutes. The introduction of Smith-Rowe and Bukayo Saka certainly made a big difference to it against a tiring Wimbledon side. I just don't think they could really handle that extra pace and movement that those two brought off the bench, and in the end it was a very good, comfortable night's work for Arsenal. A third successive win in all competitions. Mikel, speaking about it, said as long as we were 1-0 up, they were obviously still in the game. In any situation like a set piece, you can see the goal, so we knew that we had to close the game down. We did that in the end and it looked comfortable, but it was always a tough game, which I think was a fair enough assessment. Like I said, I thought Wimbledon acquitted themselves really well. They had great support at the Emirates. They tried till the end, but Arsenal were always, that sort of level above them. Made 10 changes, only one player who started against Burnley. That was Thomas Partey, surprisingly, which we'll get to later on in this video. But other than that, it was 10 changes by Mikel Arteta. But it wasn't like he packed it full of youth or anything like that. He still went with seasoned, experienced international players, really. And they were just too strong, had too much quality for Wimbledon in the end, and ran out fairly comfortable winners. Really enjoyable night, I have to say. I do like League Cup nights, have done for plenty of times, just like the Europa League group stages in the last few seasons. They've always been a lot of fun, and the atmosphere was great. Really enjoying the atmospheres at the moment. I don't know if it's just because fans have been out of the stadiums for so long, or if it just seems like there's a real extra edge to it. And yesterday, you could tell there was lots of new fans in there, lots of just walking down the steps next to me in the press box. You could hear so many kids who were there but clearly for the first time, and they were just sort of blown away as they walked in. You could hear them saying, "Wow, look at it. It's amazing." And it just had that sense of the whole night and the atmosphere. It was just everyone was really enjoying themselves. There was no real sign of any frustration when it was 1-0 for so long. Everyone was enjoying it. There was lots of good chanting going on. It's just a really enjoyable atmosphere, as it has been all season, at home and away games at the moment. So long may that continue. And more importantly for Arsenal, it just continues that momentum that they've built now. You think the Norwich win, the Burnley win, this win, it's 5 goals scored in those 3 games, none conceded. And it's just slowly, you feel, putting the building blocks in place to really try and ignite the season. I think Sunday is going to be absolutely crucial for that, because if Arsenal can beat Tottenham on Sunday, in what is a massive game, we know is an absolutely massive game, you would hope that could be the thing that really starts things off this season, because slowly they're beginning to repair the damage of what went on at the start of the season, those horrible 3 defeats. And when you think where they were after the Manchester City game, that was absolutely rock bottom. It was rock bottom for Arteta, for the players, for the fans. And you wondered how things were going to go after that. But, they got that important win against Norwich at home. They've gone and won well away at Burnley. Now, they won yesterday. Yes, they were expected to win yesterday, but they went and got the job done with relative ease, didn't concede a goal. And you just get the sense that there's that little bit of momentum building now. And that's why I just think Sunday's so crucial, because it's North London derby, it's Spurs. You beat Spurs, everyone is on an absolute high. The players will be on a high, the manager will be on a high, the fans will absolutely be on a high. But you lose to Spurs, and that momentum that you've built up over the last 3 games is just going to come crashing down. Confidence is going to come crashing down for the players. You know what it's going to do to the fans. If you lose a North London derby, it's just the worst feeling in the world losing that. And you know that all the, I don't want to say goodwill, because that sounds a bit weird, but there has certainly been a bit of a connection between the players and fans in recent games. We've seen it after the away games. We saw it again last night, I thought. After the game, you had so many all waiting around us in the press box, waiting for Arteta to come out to do his interview, waiting for Lacazette to come out and do the interview. Everyone was doing selfies with them. And you can just tell there is a little bit of a connection forming now. Arteta spoke about it after the Burnley game. But you lose the North London derby and suddenly all that comes crashing down and it's the worst thing in the world again. And, Arsenal are sitting there with only 6 points after their opening, 5 games of the Premier League season. But you win that, you beat Spurs, you go above Spurs if you win by 2 goals, then that momentum that you've built in the last few games really begins to take off, and you wonder if that could be the thing that ignites Arsenal's season. So such a crucial game on Sunday. I have to say, and Mikel was speaking about it after the match last night, about momentum and the importance of it. He said it's really important because confidence raises competition and brings the best out of you when you have difficult moments. Now the boys have won 3 matches in a row, so credit for how they have handled the situation. And now they are really looking forward to playing on Sunday, which is the biggest day of the season for us at home. And he's absolutely right. You imagine if Arsenal went into this Tottenham game and things hadn't picked up recently. Confidence, morale, everything would be absolutely rock bottom. But instead, everyone's looking forward to this game on Sunday now. It feels like a big, big game. Tottenham got the win on penalties last night, but they're not against Wolves, but they haven't been in the best of form. And you do wonder if Arsenal can go there, put down a bit of a marker against Spurs, which we haven't really seen yet this season. Yes, the wins against Norwich were important, and Norwich and Burnley were important. They were good. They showed real battling spirit, certainly in the Burnley game. But you'd love them to really turn on a stylish performance, win a game by a couple of goals, and what better team to do that against than Spurs? Although, saying that, I will gladly take a 1-0 victory. Eric Dyer own goal in the last minute. Any way we beat that lot down the road is fine by me, I have to say. So, massive game for Sunday. And speaking to a fair few of them, thank you everyone who came up and said hello during the game yesterday and after the match. Speaking to all of you, it's really very clear how big that game against Tottenham is, and believe me, I know as well, having spent the last 30 years dreading North London derbies every single week, and Sunday is going to be no different. That sort of feeling of sickness as you head to the game, and worry more than anything else, because nothing worse than losing to that lot. Don't want to think about it. Anyway, we'll speak more about Tottenham as we get closer to the game. Mikel Arteta doing his press conference for that tomorrow. And then Saturday, I'll do another video looking more deeply at that game, predicted 11, that sort of thing. But just sort of switching attention back to last night's game, some of the big talking points from it, I just wanted to discuss sort of the team selection, that sort of thing, Eddie Nketiah. And we'll start with Thomas Partey. It was a surprise, I have to say. Look, when I saw Thomas Partey was in that starting lineup, I was like, what are you doing, Mikel? What are you doing? He's going to get injured right before Tottenham. What a nightmare. It's all I could think about. And I put it out on Twitter, and some of you responded, and it did make me think, you're probably right, that he was clearly not fit against Burnley. You could see he really struggled, and the only way you're going to get match fit is by playing more match games. So if he didn't play last night, then he'd have begun into that Tottenham game again, probably, having not played for a week, and you wouldn't have thought his match fitness would have been that much better. So, if he got 60 minutes under his belt yesterday, you would hope that will certainly stand him in good stead for the Tottenham game, and he'll be able to potentially get through the whole 90 minutes of that one, because his match fitness will be increasing. There's got to be some science behind that decision. There's no way you play Thomas Partey against Wimbledon in the League Cup just because you want to play him. That is normally a game that you would rest such a key player, like Aubameyang was rested last night, like Gabriel was rested, like Ben White was rested. So there's got to be science behind that decision. That the sports scientists, Mikel Arteta, the medical team would have decided, he needs this to get to be in best possible shape for the Tottenham game in the weekend. And plenty of you raised that point last night on social media. I think you're absolutely spot on. And from what I understand as well, having spoken to someone close to Thomas Partey as well, he actually asked that he wanted to play in that game as well, because he was in the same opinion that he needed to get more fitness, to get his fitness level up ahead of what is going to be such a demanding physical game against Tottenham on Sunday. Mikel was asked about it, was it the plan for him to play an hour? He said yes, it was. He hasn't played a lot of minutes since he's been injured. We believe the rhythm of matches is nothing like any training session. I think it was very beneficial for him. He was then asked, was it a risk? Having said that, was it a risk to play Thomas Partey against AFC Wimbledon? He said, we didn't think so, and that's why we made the decision to play him. But it's always a risk when you play a game or have a training session at the intensity that we train. We believe it was the right thing to do, and he was really pushing for it. So I think that worked out well. And the fact is that he didn't get injured. He went off after the hour, which is what was planned. And I actually thought he was very, very good in that hour. Far too good for Wimbledon. He just looked an absolute class above anyone else in that midfield yesterday, Thomas Partey. And if you can play like that against Tottenham at the weekend, then hopefully we're on for a decent result. Eddie Nketiah as well. Fabulous goal by Eddie. Really lovely finish to make it 3-0 last night. I was really impressed by that. And it's been a difficult season for Eddie. Lots of speculation about his future in the summer. Very close to joining Crystal Palace. From what I understand, the fee was agreed between the two clubs. He opted not to go. There was the personal terms couldn't be agreed, so he stayed at Arsenal. He's now into the final year of his contract at Arsenal. Looks like he'll be leaving at the end of the season for next to nothing. Or will be nothing, but I think Arsenal will be entitled to compensation. So it's been a difficult season. He's been injured as well. So it's a big moment for him last night. He took his goal really well. He played a big part in the first goal as well, playing Martinelli through with a lovely pass to win the penalty. And I asked Mikel after the game about Nketiah and how impressed he's been with the way he's handled what's gone on recently. He said, I think Eddie gives us a lesson every day in how a professional should live his job. There's been speculation around him, a lot of debate, but he's got his head down and trained harder than anyone else. He looks after himself and he supports all his teammates in any circumstance. So I am so happy for him, and it's no coincidence that he's able to perform at the level and physicality how he manages the game, because he trains the best every day. So I am delighted for him. Nice words from Mikel on Eddie Nketiah, and it looks like it's sort of shedding a little bit of light on exactly what Nketiah's been like behind the scenes in what has been a very difficult couple of months for him. I have to admit, when I saw him in the starting lineup, I was like, do you really start Eddie Nketiah, who's going to go next season, rather than Balogun, who you would hope is still going to be around at Arsenal next season, is one that the club are putting real effort into trying to develop over the next few years. To me, I looked at that and thought, I'm not sure, but I can only praise Nketiah for his performance last night, because I thought he was very good and he got his goal, so fair play to him on that. Okay, before we go, quickly on Charlie Patino. I know, I wanted to see him play yesterday. I wanted to see him involved anyway, maybe get some minutes off the bench. I know an awful lot of you did as well. It didn't happen. He was there, but he was watching the game from the Adidas box. He wasn't involved in the squad, which is a bit of a shame. When you look at some of the other teams like Liverpool, Man City, really did use the game to give some of their youngsters a chance. Certainly a shame for Patino, because he's not, there's no European football this season, so he's not going to get any group stage games or anything. So felt like a good opportunity last night to give him his first minutes or even taste of it being in a matchday squad. Arteta didn't do that, and I asked him about it after, how close was he to being in the squad, and he said he was very close, but we decided as well that some players needed minutes and it will happen naturally in time. Charlie has been good. He's trained more and more with us and played a practice game at Colney. It was really good. Again, give him time and we will prepare him. So Mikel clearly opting not to throw Patino in just yet, but I think it is just a matter of time before we see the young midfielder make his debut. Okay, last but not least, as I didn't get time to do it last night, player ratings time. I won't spend too long on this. I'll rattle through them for me, but then I'll give a 6. Look, he did next to nothing. Didn't really have a save to make, but he did everything. He tidied up every time he needed to tidy up. He took every cross every time he needed to take a cross. So I'm going to give Bernd Leno a 6. Cedric, I'm going to give a 7. I thought it was a decent outing from Cedric. Really nice assist for Eddie's goal. So he got himself a goal involvement last night, Cedric. So I'm going to give him a 7. Holding and Murray, never really troubled. I'll give both of those two a 6, and very comfortable night work for them. Nuno Tavares, I'm going to give an 8. I thought Tavares was very good down the left-hand side, really lively, clearly very raw. Tavares, you can see that, and he would need to work on his defensive work, but going forward he has all the attributes to be really, really good, and I thought he caused Wimbledon all sorts of problems last night, consistently running down that left hand side, showed just how athletic he is, didn't stop running really, fitness levels really, really good, and caused them plenty of problems, as I said. So I'm going to give Tavares an 8. Thomas Partey, I'm going to give an 8 as well. Like I said, I just thought he was a class above everyone else on the pitch. He just looked really good. Unlucky not to score, nearly did with that shot in the second half before it was saved. Sambi and Maitland-Niles, I'm going to give both a 7. Decent nights for them. Martinelli and Lacazette, I'm going to give a 6. And Eddie Nketiah, I'm going to give him a 7 because of the goal he scored. Obviously, Bukayo Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe came on as substitutes and made a big, big impact when they came on. Smith-Rowe scored the goal. Saka heavily involved in the third goal and the second goal as well, actually. So both of those two I shall give a 7. All right, everyone, thank you very much for watching today's video. Please do enjoy the rest of the day. Like I said, Mikel Arteta will be speaking to us tomorrow at lunchtime ahead of the Spurs game, so keep your eyes out for that. Until then, enjoy your day. I'll speak to you soon.